Gopi Janavara Girivardhari
Matpayat Bhati Ataha Ayam Surya Tapati Matpayat Hare Krishna. What is the verse and what is the verse?
You can do that. I can do that now.
Okay.
You to start Varshati Indraha Dahati Agni Mrityuhu Charati Madhvaya. Here we go. Madhvaya Bhaktivato Yam Sudastapati Madhvaya
Yes, Tapati Madhvaya.
Varshati Indriyo Dhatavni Varshati Indriyo Varshati Indriyo Dhatavni Mrityushcharati Madhvaya Madhvaya Bhati Vatoyam Suryastapati Madhvaya Varshati Yoga Hatyavir Mrityushcharati Madhvaya Madhvaya Bhati Vatoyam Suryastapati Madhvaya Varshati Yoga Hatyavir Mrityushcharati Madhvaya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, could you show the screen, please?
Okay,
Madhvaya Vati Vatoyam
Madhvaya.
Shriyastapati Madhvayat
Yes, Tapati Madhvaya.
Archatindro Dahatyagnir
Varshatindro Dayagni.
Mrityushcharati Madhvayat
Vityushati Madhvaya.
Madhvayad Vati Vatoyam
Madhvaya Vati Vatoyam.
Suryastapati Madhvayat
Suryastapati Madhvaya.
Varshatindro Dahatyagnir
Varshatindro Dayagni.
Mrityushcharati Madhvayat.
Vityushati Madhvaya.
Madhvaya Vati Vatoyam
Madhvaya Vati Vatoyam.
Suryastapati Madhvaya
Suryastapati Madhvaya.
Vasati Indrodahati Agni
Varshatindro Dayagni.
Mrityuscharati Madhvayat.
Madhvayad Vati Vatoyam
Madhvaya Bhati Vatoyam
Suryastapati Madhvayat
Suryastapati Madhvayat
Arshatindro Dahatyagnir
Arshatindro Dahatyagnir
Mrityushcharati Madbhayat
Mrityusharati Madhayat
Madhvati Vatoyam
Madhayat Vati Atoyam
Suryastapati Madhvayat
Suryastapati Madhayat
Varshatindro Dahatyagnir
Arshatindro Dahatyagnir
Mrityusharati Madhvayat
Mrityusharati Madhayat
Madhvayadvati vatoyam
Madhayat Vati Atoyam
Suryastapati madhvayat
Suryastapati Madhayat
Varshati indro dahati agnir Mrityusharati madhvayat.
Okay. Now we'll go online. It's okay?
Madhvayatvati Vatoyam
Okay, Sakamala Mataji.
Madhvayatvati Vatoyam Suryastapati Madhvayat
Suryastapati Madhvayat
Varshatindro Dahatyagner
Varshatindro Dahatyagnir
Nityushcharati Madhvayat.
Mrityusharati Madhvayat. Karshna Hari Prana.
Madhvayadvati vatoyam
Madhvayat Vatoyam
Suryastapati madhvayat
Suryastapati Madhvayat
Vashatindro dahatyagnir
Varshatindro Dahatyagnir
Mrityuscharati madhvayat.
Mrityusharati Madhvayat. Krishna Mataji.
Madhvayadvati vatoyam
Madhvayat Vatoyam
Suryastapati madhvayat Varsastindro dahatyagnir
Varshatindro Dahatyagnir Mrityuscharati
Mrityuscharati madhvyat.
Mrityusharati Madhvayat. That's everyone.
Madhvayat
Madhvayat
out of fear of me.
out of fear of me.
Bhati
Adi
goes. Bhataha wind. Ayam this. Suryaha the sun. Tapati shines. Madhvayat out of fear of me. Varshati showers rain. Indraha Indra. Dahati burns. Agnihi fire. Mrityuhu death. Charati goes. Madhvayat out of fear of me. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about, taking its toll out of fear of me. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws being enacted are correct in all activities because of His superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically without superintendence. The Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by the demigod Indra, heat is distributed by the sun god, and the soothing moonlight is distributed by Chandra, and the air is blowing under the One's dead. Can I switch with somebody? But above all these demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. Kata Upanishad. Can I have another one? Yeah. 2.2.13. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they have been promoted to such posts. These different demigods or directors such as Chandra, Varuna, and Vayu are called Adhikari Devata. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet, or two, or three. There are millions of planets and millions of universes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government, and he requires assistance. The demigods are considered his bodily limbs. These are the descriptions of Vedic literature. Under these circumstances, the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, and the air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayad yakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence. Because he is in the background, everything is being performed punctually and regularly. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely protected from all other influences. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The statement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, and the sun is giving heat, are not sentimental. The impersonalists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualifications to him. But actually it is neither an imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said, Bisha smad vata pavate bisho deti suraha. Suryaha. By fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are acting. Bisha smad agnish chandrash chamrityur dhavati panchamaha. Agni, Indra, and Mrityu are also acting under his directions. These are the statements of the Vedas. So the translation, or the Sanskrit and translation again. Madbayad bhati vato yang suryas tapati madbayad. Varshatindro dahat yagnir mrityush charati madbayad. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about, taking its toll out of fear of me. So please let us know, Maharaj, if you'd like to share some thoughts.
One second, Gurudev. Okay, we can hear you now.
Yes, I was speaking to a professor yesterday, and he was saying how it's becoming more and more apparent that the world is gradually giving up the concept of a personal God, or the being God at all, and preferring to go back to the idea that everything is just happening by chance, and all the planets and the functions like the rain and the sun shining and air blowing, all these things are just happening by some inexplicable reason, and there's no need to artificially or sentimentally try to put a person in there to fill the gap. So this is a very dangerous situation for the world to think like that, because God is the most important person. He's maintaining everything and everyone. And he also can become upset. He doesn't like it when people misbehave, not just because they're disagreeing with him, but that it causes so much harm to others and disturbs everything. So fear can also be, therefore Krishna, or Kapila, personality of God, is presenting the reason of fear, that people, the demigods, even though they're great devotees, they're also acting out of fear because they know that if they disregard his instructions even slightly, they'll be chastised and they'll be corrected. And they don't like to be, no one likes to be chastised by an authority and pointed out to be irregular in their services. So fear can also be used in Krishna's service. Even sometimes Narad Muni, the story goes that he was, there was a snake, a poisonous snake, and Narad Muni had preached to him that he shouldn't bite people because his poison is so strong they die. So the snake became convinced of this philosophy given by Narad Muni, and so he stopped biting. And finally the word got around, and a lot of children, they learned that the snake wasn't going to bite them, so they used to go there and throw stones at him and cause him a lot of harm. So finally the snake again approached Narad Muni and said, "What can I do about this? I'm getting smashed. These children are smashing me. I've become nonviolent now, and they're smashing me. What should I do?" And Narad Muni said, "Well, you don't have to bite them, but extend your head like you're going to bite them, and in fright they'll go away, and they won't have to bite you. I mean, you won't have to bite them." So that's the idea of using fear. We don't have to necessarily use violence in any way, but we can. They should know that behind everything there is a Supreme Lord, and He has all power, and He is able. There is such a thing as hell. People think that hell is just a kind of a made-up, childish thing, and that it doesn't really exist. They don't believe in it, and therefore it doesn't exist. But although the Lord doesn't like to send people to hell, He doesn't like to use that type of punishment, He does use it because sometimes it's the only way that you can connect with certain living entities. It's like they have in prisons. The government doesn't like to spend money and so much energy on these prisoners, but they have to do it because some people are incorrigible, some living entities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. So actually, these incorrigible living entities are, in one sense, all of us here. And this material world is a type of a prison to put the fear of God back into us. And it's working, and even the wardens of this prison are also are also criminals. Just like in the material world, the prison, many times certain prisoners, they become employees at the prison. Those who are shown some, at least temporary allegiance to the, to the administrative structure of the prison, they get engaged to actually police the other prisoners a little bit. They start serving the lunch. They start cleaning up the mess hall. They start, doing some small tasks or the laundry or what have you that needs to be done. And they have some privileges because of their allegiance to the prison system. But the prison system and that person ultimately is created to rectify the misbehaving persons. So the demigods, they are also in a very large way, or in a very zoomed out way, they are also the type of a prisoner within this material world. But because Prabhupada writes, the demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they have been promoted to such posts. So faithfulness is, Prabhupada is actually putting the definition here within the sentence, is it's actually a service, devotional service attitude is faithfulness. And so the demigods have shown some faithfulness or service attitude towards the Lord, and therefore they've been given posts of power within the material world. And it's actually completely normal that, Prabhupada writes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government, and he requires assistance. And so actually management is not very easy, and there's many different functions and considerations and details and arrangements to be made, and there needs to be some assistance. So the Supreme Lord is running this entire universe, and it's completely profound how much intricacy there is in this world. And this is just one little planet, one little piece of tract of land. This Bharatvarsha that we stay, and the geometry and the cosmology are incredibly complex, and all of the whole system is working together like a beautiful clock. And Maharaj was mentioning that we have a professor that came yesterday, and he's noticing that pretty much the world is going away from recognizing that this clock has a clock maker, which is actually the only logical conclusion. And actually there is a story that Prabhupada has given that there were some scientists, and one of them was a godly person and one of them was actually an atheist. And the godly person actually was blessed with the creativity and inspiration to create a wonderful model, which was a beautiful three-dimensional model that actually moved according to their current understanding of the universe. And he left it there anonymously, and the atheist scientist, his associate, came and said, "Wow, my gosh!" You can say "my gosh" and not be a godly person. But he was quite amazed, and he said, "Who has made this?" He said, "Oh, it just appeared. It just appeared. It was by chance. It came." I said, "What are you talking about? Don't fool me. Who did this? It just appeared here." So he actually proved it to him. The model cannot be created. It's completely improbable. He actually becomes angry. He thinks, you're trying to insult me. You're insulting my intelligence. Don't mess with me. I want to know who made this. And then at the same time, they dare to say that the universal clock and the universal arrangements of the body and the planets and all these things, there's nobody who made that. There's no evidence. There's literally zero practical evidence for there not being a creator of any intelligent design. So this is actually the sentimentality, dogmatically. And they dare to say that those who are believers in God are dogmatic. They are dogmatic. They are not applying their scientific process to the concept of God and a creator. And if they would, honestly, then they become godly people. Right? And one thing that they say, Prabhupada Maharaj was saying, is that they dare to say, and Prabhupada mentioned it in the purport too, that the godless people, they dare to say that we're just trying to fill the gap, some emotional or existential gap filling, that we cannot handle the truth that there's no reason for life. Therefore, the minuscule human beings who need some grand purpose to life in order to stay sane and keep themselves alive without becoming depressed, they make a reason such as a supreme being in order, it's actually, they call it some function of the will to survive. It's actually a natural they say, you can do this word jugglery. You can do this word jugglery and you come up with something that sounds pretty intelligent, and all it is avoidance and envy of the Supreme Lord. And such persons who do this word jugglery and they make a beautiful philosophy, so-called beautiful philosophy, that avoids recognizing the Supreme Lord, they will be punished. And it's said in the Isha-Upanishad that those who do this, the destination for those who worship demigods is actually not very good. It's said in the Isha-Upanishad, we can pull the verse, you can see. Because what will happen? You get your punya, and you're going to get your papa too. Right? Doesn't cancel it. You have to get it later. Just like there was a great king, King Nimi, right? And he actually said, I'll get my papa first, right? And he had to become a lizard. Nirga, yes, King Nirga, right? And he was so silly, right? He was embodied in a lizard body after he, and complete suffering, and without any possibility for yoga or bhakti. And he has to live that way. So this is actually what happens when we're simply absorbed in the punya that we get from worshiping the demigods. And this is stated here in the Isha-Upanishad. I'll pull it up, and then I'll pull up the verse which I was speaking about. So, the beautiful verse. Mantra 4. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place, he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. Amazing. And amazing. This verse 2, text 6. He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. Okay, so then I'll bring up this point here. Those who engage in the culture of Neshian activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. This is this one. Upasate, avidyam upasate. So they do this misguided, misguided worship, and this is a nice verse. We're kind of getting to the end here of the time, so I'd like to see if anybody wants to make a comment before we end. Okay, Jagannath Prabhu.
Not a comment, just a question. I was wondering, because I was reading this pastime a few days, 2 or 3 days ago, but I was wondering why King Nrga is considered. Maybe he's not less. Maybe that's not what Prabhupada meant, that he's less intelligent. But he said, or Krishna said, that karmis in general are less intelligent because he used the example of King Nrga as an example because King Nrga had an unlimited amount of material happiness, but he chose to suffer his sins. So I was just wondering, like, why is that? Isn't that more intelligent to suffer first and then have unlimited, like, get all the stuff out of the way first and then kind of like save the best for last?
Well, if we think about what is the best is bhakti. So I want to make whatever choices so I can take bhakti as soon as possible. Because if I take to bhakti right away, then my punya and my papa are destroyed, and I can make my way towards spiritual world. Yes, Marsh? We need a few minutes.
Yeah, 1 second, Guruji. Okay, we're ready.
Yes, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, abandon all varieties of religion and occupations and just surrender unto me. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. So he would have been more pious and more intelligent, as was mentioned here, if he had just gone on serving Krishna or tried to improve his devotion to Krishna so that he wouldn't be inclined for making mistakes again in the karmakanda system. The karmakanda system, actions and reactions, are very mechanical. And they're so mechanical that it almost appears that there's nobody controlling it, it's just happening automatically. But it's not. There's a person there, and because there is a person, you can take yourself before him, place yourself before him in a humble mood and beg for forgiveness and beg for getting another chance to engage in service. And as the great devotees do, they say, please let me just serve the servant of your lotus feet. I'll be satisfied. Please just let me be a blade of grass, and so that the dust from the feet of the pure devotees can fall on me. So they become very humble and emotional, and Krishna likes that. And he can very easily forgive someone from all their mistakes in the past just by that humble attitude. So that would have been better for King Nrga than trying to outsmart the system. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marsh. Have somebody. So, Radhastali Mataji is asking a question. She's asking, can fear coexist with love? It seems that maybe they're not compatible. So, we're trying to develop love for Krishna, and obedience is not even a question when there's love. There's more than obedience when there's love. They say that a first-class disciple knows what the spiritual master wants and tries to do it even though he didn't tell him. Or a good wife knows what the husband wants without him having to say it explicitly. Right? Or a good husband knows how to take care of his dependents without them asking him, right? Or like that. So in the beginning stages, our obedience is our love, right? And this is described in a small pastime with Srila Prabhupada and some parents. The parents came and there was a discussion about loving God, and the disciples were saying, no, I don't love God. And he said, no, you do. You are coming and you're dancing and you're chanting here. So this is the mercy of the pure devotees, that by obeying the order of the spiritual master, we actually get credit as if we're loving Krishna, even though our motivations may be less than completely developed. Our emotions and our devotional attitude may be blooming or blossoming, hasn't become fully manifest. So obedience, fear can be helpful for obedience. So we can accept it. We can accept that this fear, if we're on that platform, and that's the way that we become encouraged, by fearing punishment of hell, or by fearing displeasing the spiritual master. See, fearing displeasing the spiritual master is a type of a love, is that we care about pleasing Krishna, and we are afraid to displease him by our behavior. And so it is love, actually. Though it's not always the dominant emotion or that we feel for Krishna, but when we become very humble, as Maharaj was saying, then we kind of recognize that it's his mercy that we can perform service, right? And if we're afraid to lose that service, then that fear is actually, it is love, it is love. And it's a type of a very humble manifestation of love, is to be afraid to displease the lover. And we can, it's sometimes, some devotees, it kind of came up yesterday about the 4 regulated principles. It's like, what is our motivation in bhakti? Motivation is there, right? But intention is, there too. And then there's actually the action, right? So the action is important. We should refrain from such activities. And the motivation may be different things, right? If our motivation, but our intention is to actually please, right? So These things can be analyzed more minutely, the intricacies. But if we have the intention to please, or we're connected with somebody who has the intention to please Krishna, then obeying him, whether it's out of fear or out of respect or out of affection, right? Prabhupada has asked us, out of pure love for Krishna, not to engage in certain activities and to engage in a full-time devotional service. So actually it's Prabhupada's mercy, that we get the credit that we get by just obeying. And so those are some points, and thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki